Okay, so today I'd love to talk about our educational records on Teacher. And before we get into that, just to remind us what educational records look like, I just pulled this up, on a Google search for a transcript, and here's what transcripts look like. So they'll list, here's the course, here's the grade, uh, looks like we've got contact hours, grade points, and the area. So and this is more information than many transcripts give. But basically, what transcripts will give is the name of the course you took, which semester, what grade you got, and that seems to be about the minimum. Oh, and how many credit hours. That seems to be the minimum of what you get in a transcript. And this seems to be about the maximum of what you get, is maybe we're differentiating between a lecture and a lab hour, and that's what we can expect in a transcript. But in general, what you're getting is, here's the course you took, here's the grade you got, here's when you took it, and here's your name, and here's what your degree is in. So that's what this is what we're talking about when we talk about educational records. Let's see if I shrink this, we can show a little bit more. This is what a transcript looks like. This should look very familiar to anyone who has gone to college and has a transcript from their college. And this is what we're kind of measuring our records against. So now let me show you what records look like on Teachur. So here's a sample of what a record could look like. And it starts very simple, and we've got an at-a-glance kind of thing. Here's your degree, and there are projects that you can look up. So you can list, this could be like an e-portfolio. If you have written projects, if you have video projects, presentations, anything like that you've done, you can select whatever you would like to share here, and you can differentiate between different audiences. If you want to share one record with a potential employer, another record with an admissions board for an advanced degree or something like that. So you can share whatever you want here at a glance, and it will show you, and you can go in to your degree and pick out, okay, here's a project that I did with this course, and you can add them here. So that's kind of at a glance. And we're going back and forth. This may be a more prominent part of the record that you have. Kind of your portfolio would be more prominent. And but at any rate, this is the information that we would have. And then if I go into one of these degrees, so this is a degree, we're saying here's a degree in philosophy. And right off the bat, we've got, this has been verified by 3 different experts. So these are what you would get in a degree hearing, is you would have 3 different experts, usually PhD level people in that field, who have verified that you have met the degree aims. So this is done in a degree hearing where you meet in a video conference with these experts, and they can ask you open-ended questions, and they're really looking for these degree aims. Have you mastered these? And they'll have access to papers you've written, presentations, videos you've made. So so it's not just in the hearing. That's not the only evidence, though that's an important piece of evidence, is how you can respond to these kind of open-ended questions about these more broad aims. And then I'll close this. And then in here, it lists, here are the courses that you took. And remember, back in what we're measuring against, this also, it lists the courses you took and the grade you got. And here are the courses, and instead of listing the grade, it will show, well, here's a description, here's what the course goals are. And these have all been, each course, when you've passed a course, means that you've had an expert, you've had a course hearing where you've met with an expert, again in a video chat, and they have asked you, they've kind of verified that you have mastered not only the course goals, but the objectives in each lesson. And I'll show you what that looks like. So here are the lessons. I'll show you what the lessons look like. So the course is Introduction to Philosophy. Here are the course lessons. And if we go into the course lessons, here are these objectives. So list the broadest traditional subfields in philosophy. Summarize how Western philosophy emerged and developed in ancient Greece. Updated. Identify typical aims and approaches of philosophical inquiry. And summarize the basic organization of the philosophy degree on Teachur. So all of these objectives have been verified by an expert. And they've first been self-assessed. So any student who passes this course has first self-assessed. They have marked off that I have mastered each of these objectives. And then they've taken a computer-scored test and with questions directly aligned to each of these objectives. So when they pass the test, we have a little more evidence that they have in fact mastered these objectives. And then finally they meet in a course hearing where an expert in the field, usually a PhD level expert, can ask them kind of open-ended questions and make sure that they have in fact mastered these objectives. So when I go into the educational record on Teachur, I get much more information. So in each of these lessons shows me what objectives the student has mastered. So I'll close these up so you can see a couple more. So here I'm showing you all of these objectives that anyone can see and know, and know that these have all been verified. They've been verified through self-assessment, through computer-scored assessment, and in a video chat with an expert, that an expert has verified that, yes, they have mastered all of these objectives. So if you step back and think a little bit about the difference between this kind of granular documentation of what a student has mastered in the course, it's so much more meaningful than what you get in a conventional educational record. In any of these courses, I don't know what they really learned. So this person took Introduction to Communication. It's really hard to know what they actually learned. And even if we have a syllabus from that class that says, here's what the objectives were to the class, I don't know that this student has mastered all of those objectives. And there's no way for me to do that. And it wouldn't make sense. Or universities aren't really built to address that at the kind of granular level that we can get to in Teachur. So compare again this. Here's what the conventional record looks like. Lists the courses and the grades and credit hours. And what we've got is the courses, and we have documentation record down to the objective level of what a student has mastered. So this isn't just what they've been exposed to in the course. This is what they have demonstrated mastery of in the course. And that gives you a sense of the difference, what Teachur has to offer in terms of educational records, which we think is really revolutionary. And we think this will revolutionize how what students and experts expect from educational records, and what kind of meaning and use we can make from educational records. Thank you very much.